great to be here. Great to be back amongst my family, the seven-figure networker community. You guys rock because you guys are doing it the right way, and you guys are always eager to learn more. So let's go ahead and get started. For those that are going to hang out with me, here, let me screen this up a little bit here. All right. For those of you that are going to hang out with me for the next 75, 90 minutes or so, I got a cool little bonus at the end for you. Something I'm just going to try and give back to the community at large. So just kind of sit tight, hang back, relax, take some good notes. Make sure you got a pen and paper, because I tell you what, when I went to the No Excuses Summit, I must have took like 20 pages of notes. But beyond that, I also came back with like 30, 40 contacts, a bunch of little videos with people, stuff like that. Because I got to tell you, live events are definitely where it's at. And I know a lot of you guys who are professionals, and you already know this, right? But again, it goes without saying, to be at a live event, there's nothing like it. You can do all the marketing, all the connecting online, all the social media, all the branding, but when you get to see some of your mentors, or when you get to see some people that you connect with on social media at a live event, it is priceless. It literally, you could take out so much away from it. We're going to talk a little bit more about that throughout tonight and at the very end, so you get more information. So I'm excited to be able to share this with you. This is pretty much a collaboration of a lot of what I got out of the No Excuses Summit, so it's just my takeaway. If you guys are there and you have some more input, would love to hear back and connect with you as well. And what we're going to do is I'll open up the end if anybody has any questions or comments. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rapid fire through my notes through almost 19 presenters and what I took away from just about each one. All right, so let's get cracking. So first of all, I want you to think, oh, by the way, this is me right here, the guy in the picture, the handsome one here on the bottom right-hand side. And I want you to imagine your face right here. The reason is I want you to believe and know and empower yourself that you are a leader. Now, why is that? Why do I have your picture here next to all these other leaders? Because one common thing that I heard from many people here, especially Fernie and Ray, is just like, come here, come to the event, shake our hands, know that we are real people. Know that we are just like you. The only difference is we either have done a little bit more, a little bit longer, or have never said no to be able to reach our success. That is the only difference. So I want you to imagine yourself as a leader. And if you want it, I want you to imagine yourself on stage next to your mentors. If you recognize some people on this list, you know these are top quality people. These are success-driven oriented people. And I want you to be able to connect with people like that, because that's what it feels like to be at a live event. When you run into Mike Dillard in the hallway, or Mark Hoverson, or when you get to hang out and have a beer with Jonathan Budd or Fernie and just kind of like talk to him for a couple of minutes, that's what it's like to hang out with success. We all know and have all heard that when you surround yourself with the top 5 people, that's who you're going to become, right? So you're an association of you belong to your association. So if you're hanging out with people that are broke mentally or physically, that's what you become. But when you hang out with success-driven superstars and you continue to seek them out and continue to hang out with them, that's who you become. So that's why I want you to think of this yourself right next to all these people throughout this whole presentation. All right, so let's get going. First of all, Raymond Fong and Fernie Ceballos put on an incredible event. Again, if you guys were there, you know how packed the room was. The energy, the vibration of the room was just incredible. The breakout sessions to the meeting after the meeting. And again, that is always the biggest tip I give to anybody who goes to a live event. Never forget the meeting after the meeting. And in this case, there was like a meeting after the meeting, after the meeting, after the beer, after the meeting kind of thing. So you know how these things work. So one thing I took away from Raymond Fong was get into character in all your marketing. And I kind of paused on reflection on that for a little bit. And when he talked about that, he literally said when you're in the beginning or when you're brand new, you want to develop something that you're going to empower yourself to become. So you want to develop a character, somebody you strive to be. And he said the About Me page is the most important real estate that you have. And I totally 110% agree with that. If anybody is on a blog, you guys know, you probably already know, your About Me page is the most important place where people can connect with you. They can feel you. They get to know you, and that is so important. So if you're brand new, and a lot of people struggle with their About Me page in the beginning, it's like, I don't know what to say, I don't have a story yet. He totally nixed all those excuses by coming up with a little strategy to be able to put that stuff out there. So it really kind of started with a character. So you kind of envision that. We'll talk a little bit more. When you develop your character, you want to list qualities and characteristics of someone you admire to become that person. So what does that mean? If you follow somebody like Jonathan Budd, Mark Hoverson, Katie Friley, all those people, what is it that's attractive to you? What is it that they have that you want a part of or that you want to become? You want to write those down. The reason is you're going to add those in your wording of your About Me page. It doesn't mean that you're lying. It doesn't mean that you're stealing somebody else's concept or personality. It means that you are using those empowering words, the charisma, the characteristics, the energy in your About Me story. So again, and some other things that Raymond really talked about that I liked was that your website is your visitor's first touch, the beginning of your funnel. And what does it say about you? Again, that's so important to have that good story. It creates that good presence and foundation for people to get to know you. Some things that Fernie talked about was people join people, not a business. Again, it's all about building relationships. A lot of the stuff you guys already know, but it just really makes sense when people keep talking about the same thing and knowing it's a people business. Because when you realize, you're like, yeah, I already know that, that means you're on the right path. When you can say, yeah, I get it, I already know that stuff, that means you're moving in that right direction. So that's why I like to do that. And then the next thing, the point of your blog, shows that you're a professional marketer. So what is your blog saying about you? It doesn't mean that you are marketing a product or service. It means that you know how to convey a message. You know how to reach out and connect with people. And your blog is also designed to convert. It's designed for your audience to be able to connect with you at a deeper level. That's what all those articles and videos and posts are all about. They're literally to bring people towards you and then convert them into opt-ins and convert them into your list. So one of the resources that they gave out at the summit was this website here. So you can definitely write this down, noexcusessummit.com/resources. So they have a couple of their favorite resources, like list building product or things like that that's on that. So it's a great little tool or great little place to pick up a couple of tips there. All right, so moving on. One of my favorite speakers that I met for the first time, didn't even know who he was until I met him, was Jimmy Davis. And I got a lot to talk about him. Very charismatic, very amazing and dynamic person. He's made millions of dollars. And this is how he opened his presentation. Right here, just like it's typed. Disclaimer. Please excuse the strong language, smooth charisma, and credible good looks because I have an important message. Now, of course, the whole room blew up and kind of had a lot of fun with that. But why did he do that? Why did he bring that out there? One, it was a trigger for people. It was a trigger to really connect with people at a deeper level. But it was also to have a lot of fun. In my opinion, he had a whole lot of fun throughout the whole weekend, just sharing and giving and talking and introducing all the speakers. But that's what he really wanted to just kind of touch you on the shoulder and smack you in the face at the same time. And that's what I think he walked away with. So it was really great to be able to have someone that had a lot of fun with it. So that was his intention to do that. Now, something else that he talked a lot about was trying is failing with honor, and clarity is power. And what does that mean, clarity is power? It means know yourself. Know that what you're good at and get good at it. So when he introduced a couple of people, he really identified with some of the strengths that these people had, these other presenters. And there was a common underlying tone, and I think Mike Dillard really kind of hit it off with, know what you're good at and get better at it. And that is so important because I think a lot of us try and figure everything out all the time. And I think that's why we get stuck and frustrated and just we kind of hold ourselves back or shoot ourselves in the foot because we try and do it all. Forget that. Jonathan even talks about it. What I give you is a buffet. Pick one or two things, get good at it, know that you're good, get better at it, and then outsource the rest. Or once you get good at it, pick up something else that you can work with. So you don't need to know it all. You just need to know what you're good at. So that's a lot about knowing yourself. Now, one other thing that he mentioned was mentors are people who give advice on what's worked for them. Advisors give information even if it's not worked for them. That's huge. There's a big difference there. So when you're advising people or you're giving them advice, give them something that you have done. Or even if you haven't done anything yet, don't be afraid to tell them, hey, I am working on this. I just heard this from somebody else. It's really cool. Like, for instance, when you talk to people about the 7-figure networker system, It's like, hey, I just picked this up. There's some great training in here. See, there's that third-party validation. You don't have to say, I've done this, I've done that. It's okay. It's okay to tell people you're on your journey, but give them that journey. Tell them what you're going for. So be a mentor to people. Don't just give them advice and you think this works, you think that works. Give them something that either A, you've done and you know that works, it's produced this amount of results, because then you can prove it, or B, give them something that you're working on. Say, I'm really excited about this. This is where I'm going forward. Now, something that Jimmy touched upon that I just totally 100% agree with is you must have a mastermind group and positioning. Now, obviously, I'm all about the mastermind group, and we build them and form them and show other people how to do it. And it is so powerful to be able to hear other people's ideas and tips and tricks around the same concept that you're learning, because everybody can learn together. So if you don't have a mastermind group yet, if you don't have somebody you're learning from, definitely reach out and connect with somebody to form some type of alliance where you can meet on a continuing basis. To form that is so important, especially in this online social media, blogging, pay-per-click marketing. Everything's changing so fast. You need a group that's kind of out there that can be able to connect real well. Jimmy also talked about positioning yourself as that leader, as that authority is huge. It's literally, you are the go-to person. Now, I want to quantify this real quick, because a lot of people may not want that leader position. They may not want to be that, hey, look at me, I'm the one that can take you to the next place, follow me kind of thing. And that's okay. But know if you want it or don't want it. Again, it's all about know yourself. Know if you want that position and you want to raise your hand, you want to lead webinars, you want to build an organization, you want to, blaze the trail. If that's you, know it and claim it, and then step into it. So if you're not doing it yet, there's a pivotal decision that you need to make. And positioning is a huge piece of that. All right, so more from my friend, Mr. Jimmy Davis. So he really built his empire basically on his My Story marketing funnel. Now, I thought this was really intriguing because, I'm all about the personal story because it's a great way to connect with people. But he talked about it in a way that's his funnel. That's his funnel, was all about how he can help you. It's about how he is pretty much, pardon the French, a badass marketer. You want to build your brand. Again, if you're branding yourself, you're putting yourself out there, you want to let people know, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how I can help you. This is why you deserve to work with me. Oh, by the way, you have to qualify, and I need an application. I mean, think of the posture when you do that. So I'm going to kind of walk through a brief little funnel real quick with some highlights. So the first one obviously is the website. It's just a story to tell people how good you are. Video testimonials are huge, right? I'm a marketing badass. That's posture. And then there's a takeaway, and it says, I'm going to work with 10 people. That law of, not just the law of reciprocity, but that takeaway, it's kind of like, oh, wow, you bait that hook, you cast the line out there when you're fishing, and then you kind of tug on it, and then you reel it in. That's exactly what you're doing. You're fishing for people. You're looking to connect with people, and only a few people, and only the right people, and they have to qualify for your time. You need that posture in your funnel. So it's about building your brand. It's not just marketing online. It's not just your killer videos out there or your social media sites. It's also congruent in your funnel. And I think a lot of people are missing that. And I think there's a trend where we need to help other people understand that more. Brand yourself in your funnel, not just on the outside. And so the second part that leads to is the application. So people look at the first part, the capture page or the website, right? They opt into it. They get a little bit more information. They get, in his funnel, an application. Now, there's more testimonials in there. You go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole. You connect a little bit more. You give them specifically, I can do this for you, and you'd be a fool not to partner with me. And that the application is like a survey. So they literally are vying for your time. They are qualifying themselves for your time, for your expertise, for your leadership. Again, that's posture right there. Now, I'm going to stop real quick because Jimmy just jumped up and down all over the place where he's like, everybody's worried about traffic. He's like, he is more focused on the story and the conversions. You could get a flip about where the traffic is, because if you have a good, strong, rock star funnel, traffic doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it costs 35 cents a lead, free leads, or $5 a lead. He says his traffic doesn't matter, and you get traffic all over the place. So don't worry about where it's going to come from. We need to shift people into knowing who they are, position themselves as a leader, and branding themselves in their funnel. That's so important. This is just what I resonated out of everything he said. Now, the third point here, which really kind of threw me for a loop, I thought was just genius, was an assistant. Now, I know a lot of people already have these, but what's really cool is it doesn't have to be a live assistant. So follow this again. If they're completing a survey, right, on the second part of your funnel, and they send the survey back, that survey can automatically be linked back to a fake account. Now, you can have someone man it. You can man it. You can cross-man somebody else's, and they can man yours. You can have your spouse man it or something like that. It's just posture. And this whole thing, he talks about building points in your posture so that by the time it comes to the close, people are already sold. They have their credit card in hand, and it literally means calling them for the close. That's it. You're calling them for their decision. They've already made it. You're just collecting it. If you can envision that kind of funnel and you can step into that, that is posture, baby. That is all over the place. So, again, that personal assistant is huge. Builds more credibility, builds more authority. And again, people are lucky to be able to work with you, and they deserve it. So the next thing that the assistant does is send them the opportunity video or a little bit more about whatever your funnel is about. Right now, if you're building a network marketing company, that would be your opportunity video, ones that you would create, right? You're branding yourself through your opportunity, not your opportunities, not your network marketing company's site, your site, another site that you're going to have that's going to have more of you in this opportunity. And then lastly, at the end, you just collect the phone number and then they call the close. So they get to know you and like you and trust you throughout your self-branded funnel. I just thought it was huge. So again, to kind of wrap that up, focus on conversions first, traffic second, build that rock star funnel. All right. The next person that came up was Justin Christensen. Now, this was really kind of interesting because it really separated in the room. You can almost get a sense of feel for the people that are treating their business like a business and who are just here kind of like in a hobby state, because there are multiple states in building your business, right? People kind of join for several different reasons. A lot of people quit, you know, they just can't handle it or they don't know what to do. They don't get the training, in my opinion, in the beginning. But Justin Christensen talked about running your business like a business. So he talks about this is the important, boring stuff that nobody else is going to talk about throughout the whole weekend. And it's true, but it is important. So if you are building your own business, whether it's branding yourself, even if it's just a network company, but you're going to step into that position and literally create that paradigm shift that's going to allow you that freedom that you deserve, you want to treat it like a business. So there's several points that he offered here. Be transparent. Don't hide your emotions. Good days, bad days. Be real, because people will respect and relate to you more, right? Again, you know, if everybody is just always on fire and all excited and, you know, and people are following you and that's all that you give, I mean, yeah, that's great. But, you know, every once in a while, you all have a bad day. We all have a bad day or an off day. Doesn't mean you had to say today sucked or anything like that. It's just like, you know, maybe it's just not always so 100% positive. And that's okay, because people will be able to connect, because not everybody's going to have a perfect day all the time. So he really stressed that quite a bit. And then he also stressed upon incorporate yourself, whether you're building a company like I have or like Jonathan has or other people, or you have your own self-company. Incorporate it. You can do that with LegalZoom, prepaid legal, things like that. You also want to make sure and keep good records. You don't want to just be flaky. You're building a business. Think like $1 million, multi-million-dollar business. They keep good records. They have an accountant, right? They have, you know, things in play. You want to be able to think like that and know that you deserve a company like that. And you are CEO and you own it. You need to have that attitude and that aptitude for running a business. He also stressed about use credit cards only. Put in the company name, your name. Don't use debit cards. Keep your cash and leverage credit. It's really huge and very important to be able to flex that credit muscle, flex that opportunity to be able to leverage that. There's also a lot of advantages, miles, points, cash back, stuff like that. But he also mentioned that the debit cards, there's a huge rate of theft on those debit cards when you're doing online purchases versus a regular credit card. So be smart out there when you're using your cards. CPAs, you need to have an accountant, right? It's just part of business. It's a done deal. They should be part of your mastermind team. You should know your accountant on a first name basis. You should connect with them. Justin talks about connecting with his accountant on a first name basis 2-3 times a week. He just runs things past his accountant like he would if he was being mentored by somebody else. He just, hey, what do you think about this? This is what I'm thinking. And he is part of his mastermind team. It's very important. And then disclaimers. Make sure you have them. I know you've heard a lot. If you've been around for a little bit of a while, what MasterCard's doing, what the FTC is doing, stuff like that. Get legal. Have somebody else take care of that for you. Have that disclaimer out there because it is your credibility that is on the line. It's your bank account that's being, managed. It's your brand that's being managed. You don't want to tarnish it. You want to do the right things. It may take a couple of bucks to get started, but definitely that's what you want to do. By the way, Justin Christensen was the right-hand man for helping Mike Diller get his company up and running. So that's why I was really paying attention to what Justin was talking about. All right, extras. It's easier to keep your customers than to get new ones. If you guys have been around a while and you're running campaigns and ads and if you're just targeting the new customers and you're doing all your marketing and you're not following up with people with additional information that can better them, you're losing out on a ton of money and a lot of opportunity in relationships, joint ventures, and more income, honestly. So he really kind of nailed down several different things here. Marketing is also for keeping customers, not just the new customers. It's for keeping them and continuing to work with them. If somebody likes you and you've built all that funnel, you've made that work, and you've gone there where you're literally connecting with people and bringing them in and you sold them something, it is so much easier to recommend, figure out the word, recommend another product that you use because they already know you. So it's so easy to do that now. Just make sure you're recommending good products that you are using. He really stressed about give 10 times the value for the price, under promise and over deliver. And I know the shift has been happening over the last couple of years of quality online. And I know there's a lot of people who see a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of people that are doing some good things out there. But you want to make sure that you are doing the best. So don't over promise something. You don't have to hype it all up. There's no need to that. I mean, you've seen the way Jonathan puts out product after product. I mean, he's got a great, strong marketing, but he always over-delivers. So use that as a model. Follow-up, emails, postcards, things like send-out cards. Those are all great ways to follow up with people. A lot of people stick with the emails, and that's great. But every once in a while, I'll get a personal postcard for somebody or a little email card or something like that. I'm like, man, that makes the difference. Think about it. When you get a thank you card from a family member or something like that, or something comes in the mail, how do you feel? I mean, if they just say, hey, thanks, or I just want to connect with you, doesn't that make you feel a whole lot better to be able to connect with them even more? Just because we are online and marketers and internet marketers or network marketers or whatever, don't forget about the personal connection. This is definitely high touch as well as high tech. Build both at the same time. Totally doable. Special bonuses, referral, undisclosed bonuses, just because. Those are great things to be able to constantly add to your list without always wanting something. If you're always marketing to your list the next product, this product, that joint venture, or this opportunity, that's what you're going to be known for. And I'm on many people's lists, and even a couple of really big networkers and internet marketers, that's all I see from them is just this launch after the next launch after the next launch. I rarely see some other meaty ways to connect with them. Now, a bunch of them I do, but on a few I don't, and it's kind of a bummer because I just opt off their list. So touch base with your list weekly as well, and make sure you call to review your order, not just to upsell people. Now, this was huge. Now, this one I got from Justin as well as Mike Diller because they both said that they are doing that now. They're having their team call people to just kind of say, hey, thanks for ordering. Just kind of wanted to know if you needed any help with it. How much stronger is that of a posture for you to be able to offer that to your customers, to your clients, to be able to call them and just say, hey, just want to kind of connect with you. I know it sounds like it takes more time and you're building just an online brand, but again, don't forget about building the relationships. It's so easy to dismiss a new customer, and it's so much stronger to keep them by just connecting with them. You can also tell them how to best use your product as well. So if you have like a service or maybe something that's pretty beefy or pretty intense, you had some great videos leading up to it and stuff like that, but maybe there's some more in the back end. People kind of get confused easy, so you may want to think about a little extra follow-up through video-wise or personal connection or something like that. Shower them with value. You cannot give enough value to people nowadays, and they will always be grateful and thank you for that. So, and another thing that Justin talked about is always be testing. You're going to hear this off and on through tons of speakers. Always be testing. ABT, headlines, offer, guarantee. Those are huge. Those are the best ways to do it. Jonathan talks about it. Mark talks about it. Always be testing. Incentive surveys, another great way. SurveyMonkey.com, another great resource to write down, is a great way to be able to just pulse your list or your community. Or, I mean, you can do this on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on anything that you have a community around you. You know, send out just because little surveys. Hey, yeah, you know, what do you think about this? Or what's your thought about this? You can lead people to something that you're going to launch later on if you take a little survey, maybe a month or two ahead of time. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind as well. Sometimes it's just because you need some more content to put out there. You want to know what your list is interested in. What a great way to ask for their permission. I mean, it's just, once you think about it, it's pretty simple and pretty ingenious. Ask for your customers to sell you something. I mean, you know, you can think about that. All right, the next leader that came up, and I've heard of Jeff Lerner before, but I never saw him. But this was great. I was able to stop him in the hallway for a couple seconds and, you know, say hi and talk to him real quick. Nice guy, really grounded, down to earth. He talks about take your story, be great at being real, right? Be authentic. We already talked about that a little bit. Develop your brand, put it out there, and then kick in the leverage. So what did he talk about first? Your story. That's the foundation. That's the basis. Be real in that story and develop your brand. And again, I'm going to say develop it online. I mean, develop it, you know, on the marketing side of it and in your funnel, because that's continuing to market. So develop both places, and then kick in the leverage. Obviously, that's your, you know, things like your blog, your social media, all the things that you guys know and learning about. But that's the formula that he has done and stuck with. So that's kind of like his creed, his model, so to speak. He also talked about organize your assets, know who you are and what you want. Again, how do you know if you've succeeded or you've reached that next level if you don't know who you are or what you want? Create that trust and authority. Position yourself. There's that word again, position. It's so critical. Opening statement, purpose, or propose a thought question. The brain hates open-ended stuff. Now, this was interesting. I just tested this recently. It is so true. In fact, I just did a blog post recently about asking questions. And it's true that some people, they start a conversation, like you get on Facebook or on Twitter or something like that. They want to connect with you, and then they never show up to finish the conversation, or they don't know how to start the conversation. Asking questions is huge. So I want you to take this apart. Think about this in everything you do. Propose a question online once a day to Facebook and have people just kind of reply and then follow through with some of those replies. They will tell you how to market to them. They will tell you whether they are a good match or a good potential leader in your business by their answers. So ask questions. You can also, obviously, you ask questions in your autoresponder campaign, right? Which are the autoresponders you typically open up the most? Is it a question or a thought-provoking statement? Because then that could be, and that should be, because the brain hates that open-ended stuff. So you want to know, what does he mean by that? So think about that when you're looking at those as well. I hope some of you guys are getting an aha moment on this. All right, next thing, add background information. You know, build that positioning, wordplay without lying. So he talked about just feeding that a little bit more. Don't stop when you get going with your opening statement, whether it's your blog post or a video or something like that. You have a teaser, you have that hook. Keep going with it. Keep playing around with it, mulling it over throughout whatever content that you're creating. And then at the end, you offer a solution. And that all changed when, especially in your About Me story. And I'm going to give you some tips at the end about that. But I had this problem. That changed when I went to No Excuses, or that changed when I got this great training from the 7-Figure Network, or things like that. So think of the end in mind and work backwards. When you create your funnel, when you create your content, create whatever it is that you're putting out online, you want to give it some thought. Yes, it's great. You definitely do keyword research. Definitely put out content that your audience needs to know. But think of the process that your content is delivering as well. It's not just a great thought and then something that's written about it. You want to cause a reaction in people. You want them to think about it, and you want them to do something about it. Hopefully that's opt into your list, connect with you more, read another program, or subscribe to your newsletter, whatever it is. That's definitely that call to action. And then Jeff also talked about a great resource, anything that Dan Kennedy has written about posturing and about positioning and stuff like that. So a couple of people have talked about Dan Kennedy. So Next one, Jarek Robbins. This was really cool. Yes, this is Tony Robbins' son that came on there, and what a dynamic, phenomenal speaker. Right? It was just, I mean, of course, polished and just trained to the hilt, but very engaging and very dynamic. So one of the quote I took away from him was, "The greatest gift is to have choices. Choose value creation over value extraction." So that is huge. The quality, the quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. So in that quality of life, you have happiness, abundance, and time. Three areas that you must have. The first two help you gain a new perspective. The last measures your progress. So in the first two things that you're going to talk about is that he talked about is the personal development and the personal growth. So those are two huge areas that we all know this, right? We all know that these are things that we need to work on first. These are things that, everybody says, you got to work on yourself first. Well, this is so true. So these two areas are what you're going to talk about. Then the way that you measure that is your simple intelligence. That's you review your About Me page kind of thing. So the value extraction, that's a limiting statement, right? Overcome them by being clear, honest with yourself. So for instance, if you have going out throughout the day and you're working on something and maybe it's just you're struggling, you're not quite getting it, and a negative thought pops into your head, recognize that for what it is. It's just a negative thought. Don't entertain that negative thought. Cancel that out as soon as possible and move on, because the more negative thoughts you entertain, the more stuck and frustrated you're going to get. Search for the value, search for the resolve, or find whatever it is to get past that as soon as you can. And that's definitely working on yourself first. I know every person out there is always working on themselves more than anything else. This is a big reason why. Now, value creation. Every day I find a way to make a difference. That's what he talks about. Every morning he wakes up. Every day I find a way to make a difference. So that's part of his self-talk. That's what he talks about every day. On a scale of 0 to 10, action versus reaction. So where are you in life in different things? Well, let me get to this on the next page. I think this is what we're talking about. Yeah, Jarek Robbins continue. Here we go. So there's three areas that you want to look at when you do a 0 to 10 scale and see how productive or happy or how you're managing these areas. But Jarek also talked about the only reason we really pursue goals is to cause ourselves to expand and grow. And think about that when you read that again. The only reason we pursue goals is to cause ourselves to expand and grow. It's kind of deep. Kind of like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm working on that. All right, now think about these three areas in your life. Relationships. Where are you? 0 to 10. Pick the number one most important relationship now. Where is it? And where do you want it to be? So kind of get that in your mind and see what's really important to you. Time and organization. Do you have a schedule, system? How do you spend your day? Goal-oriented tasks, right? You know the difference between busy work versus productivity. So where are you 0 to 10 in your time and in your organization? These are strong questions. This is huge for self-reflective. If you do this exercise and you are honest with yourself and then you put a little plan in play, literally you can have a life-changing event within 2 to 4 weeks, 6 to 12 months, whatever your goals are. Putting these small things in play will really help you get there. The third area is financial mastery. This is your money. This is your finance, your bank account. How do you manage your money, or does it manage you? 0 to 10. Where are you in managing that? Are you accountable with your money? Or do you spend it? Is there areas in your financial life that you can trim if you're on a budget? Do you need to do things that aren't healthy? Do you need to eat out all the time? Things like that. I mean, I'm not going to answer these for you. These are things that you're going to review and self-reflect on and be honest, because the more honest you are, then the more you're going to be able to get out of an exercise like this. So he really stopped and really had us think about this for a little bit, which was really great. So I'm definitely keeping this out, and I'm really working with a few people in different groups that I'm in and really kind of hone in on these areas, because it's not just about building money. If you focus on the money, it's not going to happen for you. You're not going to be happy. It'll never be enough. You're not going to have a quality of life that you deserve. And that's the reason, I believe, that most of us get into this business, is for a better quality of life. And if we can't help ourselves to be able to get that better quality of life, how are we going to be able to help others? Again, this is why we work on ourselves more than anything else. All right? So what's stopping you from your goals? Habits, fears. You can do three things. You can ignore them, or you can blame others, or you can solve it, or you can blame. You can blame others, you can blame yourself, or you can blame the problem. Pointing fingers at somebody else is not going to solve it. Taking ownership of it, even if it's your issue, if it's your fault or not, doesn't matter. Taking ownership of the situation and having the wherewithal to say, you know what, let's just get this done. We're going to solve it. We're going to take action on it and move past it. Whether it's a relationship that's just draining you, whether it's finances that are just draining you, just want something simple in play. Say, you know what, I'm just going to solve this. Doesn't mean that you have to have the answer right now. You have to make the commitment first. So living a life of action or reaction. You get a mentor, a coach, and a massive action plan. This is just a simple stuff, and it's just things that he was just talking about that just made so much sense. And I know it resonated with a lot of people in the room, because I saw a lot of people writing, a lot of people heads nodding, you know, a lot of excitement after he was done with this. Now, there's one thing you can do at the end: decide, commit, and resolve. See how simple these are. We don't need to make it difficult. And I think a lot of times we do. We overcomplicate things. Like, and resolve. Two things you can do here. One small decision right now on each of these three areas. Just a simple little tweak. Just to even recognize where you are is just a simple tweak. And then the second thing is, what is a big thing you can do to move forward, like in 3 to 6 or 12 months? What is that goal that you can win, that you can obtain to move past the issues that are stopping you from really being successful and having that quality of life? So Jarek, he was phenomenal. He was talked a lot. Again, met him in the hallway, shook his hand for about a second. You know, he was mobbed, but it was great to be able to connect with him. So again, live events, nothing like it. All right, Norbert, he was a great speaker, great connector as well, very open in the hallways, very easy to talk to and approach. This is what's amazing. We put our mentors and people up that we see online all the time going, they're making millions of dollars. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, this is great. And, you know, you meet them at an event, you go shake their hand, you say hi, you know, and some of them, most of them would stop and, you know, talk to you, get to know your name a little bit, get to know your face, whatever. So, yeah, I've seen you around on this or that or whatever. That is great because it makes you feel connected, right? Anyway, so one thing I took away from Norbert, the foundation of your business is leadership and communication. Just be yourself. That's authentic marketing, my friends. That's just a way to be real, be connectable, is just to be yourself. You don't have to hide behind somebody. Yes, if you make that posture, that person that you're going to move into, that's still being yourself, because you've laid claim to those words that you're going to put there, like on your About Me page, your content, things like that. So fundamental conversions, leadership and communication. Those are the 2 points that he really hit upon throughout his whole presentation. You get paid for the direct value you give to the marketplace. And that's huge. The direct value you give to the marketplace. So look at the stuff that you're putting out online, or the content and stuff like that, and just kind of reflect upon that, going, where is there good value in there? Is my audience looking? Do they need this kind of information? Because if they are, then that's where you're going to bring people in and be able to connect with them even more and offer them services and tools that they need. But you value what you're giving to them by recommending it because you use it. That makes a difference. Don't just throw any new little gadget at them. Really say, hey, I use this. Here's some videos I've done with this. Here's what the results I get. Here's what I'm looking for. Things like that. Mindset, knowledge, the value you work on yourself. Inspire and empower you give to others. So mindset and knowledge, that's huge. Again, you work on yourself first. You give it away to others. But you got to work on yourself before you can give it away, because then you're literally empowering others. And that's when you know you've built a dynamic following, leadership, program, community, network marketing. You know, when you can empower others and have them go pay it forward to other people, then you really know that you've mastered the game, that you're moving towards the success that you deserve. And then he also talks about communication. Speak to others versus speaking with others. So like, speak to others in your copy, in your video, your speaking, your ad copy, direct response, right? That's when you're talking to people, you know, but you want to understand, know what they want. Still be authentic and look through the eyes of your customers. So if you're attracting people that are like you 6 months ago or a year ago, or if you were struggling this or having issues with that, is that the person that you're attracting? What are they thinking about? What are they feeling? That's what you want to have in your copy and your video and right? That's when you speak to people. Now, when you speak with people, Norbert talks about listen. Know what they want. Again, same thing here, but you want to listen to people, give direction and specific orders. So he talks about, hey, when you come into my company or when you sign up with me and whatever it is, here's my phone number, here's my email, here's my Skype. I give you all my contact, but I will not call you. I am building this. Now, it's posture. A lot of people think it's ego, but it is literally posture. You can't contact everybody. Yes, you want to stay connected with your leaders, of course, and stuff like that, but you want to set the stage from day one. I am here to support you, but I will not chase you. When you drop your posture by chasing people, you lose the game. They win, you lose, you stay stuck, you stay grounded, and you don't climb that ladder of success. You don't get to your goals that you deserve. So be available. Tell people. Let them know up front. This is the way I build my organization. This is the way I'm going to teach you to build the same. So, really like that from Brian. Brian's business partner, Norbert's business partner, Brian Finale. Brian's awesome. I mean, he's energetic, passionate, and I gotta be honest, he was shorter than I thought, but a great connector. Really gave of his time throughout the whole weekend as well. Was always open for pictures with people and videos. I got a little brief video interview with him and stuff, so it was great to be able to connect with him as well. But one thing I took away from something he said was attraction marketing is where it's at. Start your own webinars now. And I know people like Mark Hoverson and Jonathan talk about this. When you're brand new and you're building your first list and you got your first 15, 20 people, give them a webinar. Even if it's like 20 minutes, get over it. Get out there. I mean, I know my first webinar just several months ago was in front of 12 people, and it was shaky and crazy. I stumbled through the words. I took a half-hour webinar, crammed it in 15 minutes on a slow computer that just flashed red almost near the end. I was like breaking out in sweats and hives. It was terrible. And I've only done several since. Actually, I've done many now. But you get better as you get going. But you got to get going. If you haven't done your first webinar yet and you have a list of 15, 20 people, offer them a webinar. There's a free version. There's a paid version. There's all kinds of tools out there. All you have to do is seek it. Give yourself the permission to posture up and go do it. That bottom line. So Brian really talked to a couple of things, webinars and the Facebook ads. So we'll talk about the webinar first, GoToWebinar. Brian used this on his last contest, right? He fully utilized all the webinars that he did for a contest. So every time he gave a webinar, he had all 3 email options during multiple webinars. What does that mean? When you set up a GoToWebinar, for those that use it, you probably already know this. For those of you that haven't yet, when you get there, and I know that you will real soon because it's a must, there's 3 options for telling people ahead of time that the webinar is coming up, right? A couple of days beforehand, the day before, a couple hours, or even up to that minute kind of thing. Don't be afraid to tell them, hey, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. Tell them again 3 times and people will see it, right? Just like buying something. People need to see the ad 6 or 7 times. Same thing about your webinars. People forget. They opt on 2 or 3 webinars, whatever. Stay in front of them. Follow-up emails after the webinar. There's a thank you for joining the webinar. You'll see this at the end of this webinar as well. Thank you for being on this webinar. Why is that? To continue that connection, to continue that I'm just being able to connect with you. I'm going to give you more information. Now, there's information you can put on that follow-up email. When you're running a contest or a promotion or anybody else's promotion for that matter, what you can do is you can put out a brief little paragraph and put the purchase link of whatever it is you're promoting in that email, that follow-up email. Now, Brian did this twice. So on his last launch, he had several webinars. He was open almost every day, had a webinar about this or about that or whatever, just to bring more value to the community as he was launching a product. And then he had his email, his buy now link embedded in that email twice. People got used to seeing it, and he didn't change the text that much between one and the other. Maybe a little bit here or there, but basically it was the same thing. Why? Redundancy causes people familiarity. Again, redundancy breeds that familiarity. So people go, they almost expect it. Oh, I missed it last time. I'm going to buy it on this time. Or, oh, that's right, he's still offering. I better get it now. So things like that. Now, Brian's, the time he had to talk was real fast, so he jammed through this one. He talked about Facebook ads, getting on them right now. It is right now the current pay-per-click way to go, and I know Jonathan just did some great videos on training on that as well in the Seven Figure Networker. But there definitely got to get started with that. If you're offering anything of financial value, or get in there, get on a Facebook ad, but test them out. Split test, split test, split test. Brian created over 300 different ads to find the right combination. And he noticed that ads leading to a capture page converted lower or did not convert as well as the ones that pointed back to a Facebook page. So if you have a Facebook fan page, it talks all about the Seven Figure Networker and as a welcome tab, and then you want to do an ad for that, have it stay within Facebook. Over time, your costs will be lower, your click rates will be higher, and Facebook will approve your ads more often. When they go outside of Facebook and they go to a capture page or something like that, then the conversions are going to be lower, may cost you a little bit more, and Facebook may not approve them as fast or as more. It's just something he's found out after doing 300 of them. Again, always test. All right, the king of attraction marketing, Mike Dillard, was in the house. It was amazing. Yes, he's a real person. I mean, I know a lot of people see the videos, they see all his content. Most of you have purchased some of his products. Yeah, he's a real person. Now, what was interesting, well, let me read this real quick. At the end of the day, it's not about your company nor your primary opportunity that matters. It's how you've given tremendous value and created you as the brand. People see you as you see yourself. Well, that was the first part. And then obviously anybody who's really followed Mike for a long time knows, if you know his story, you know that copy is king. That is the first skill that he developed to a mastery level, was copy. And he invested himself in making sure that he could write the best copy that had all these triggers in it, that had all these takeaways, that had the right information in there that people made a purchase decision. Anyway, but again, at the end of the day, he talks about value, and he talks about branding, and as you as the product. Now, one thing, so take what you know, to be the best thing that you have and make it better, but start with copy. So he did talk about, again, start with what you can do and just make it better. What does that mean? Make it better. Well, if you're good on videos, get on videos and start converting people into leads. If you're doing, 2, 3, 4, 5 leads a day, and they start making some money, whether it's a seven-figure networker, whether it's another product, now you're getting good on videos. Well, just ramp it up a little bit. Do some other things with the video. Right now, there's a lot of people that are doing some great things with chopping up their videos. They got a pre-little video. They got an entry, stuff or whatever. There's some music behind it. Get better at that if that's what you like to do. If writing's your thing, get better. Master it. And mastering it is when you have several leads coming in a day, up to dozens of leads coming in a day, then you know you've mastered it. So now one secret that Mike had was 5 things a day, every day. That's it. It wasn't overkill. It was day by day consistency. And I know people are up and down and up and down, and life happens, this and that. But that's just one thing. If you want to be successful, like a lot of these leaders are, it's consistency. It's doing something in their business every day. Yeah, they may take a day off here and there, but most of the time, almost all the time, it's 5 things a day, especially for these people. So, I mean, 1 blog post, 1 video, 1 newsletter, whatever it is, whatever the 5 things is, you need to make sure that there are 5 things that's going to get you towards your goals. It's going to move you towards winning your goals. It's not like filing the paperwork, then going picking up the kids. No. In your business, it's 5 things that's going to move you. It's not organizing your Facebook list. It's not, anything like that. It's connecting with people, right? It's posturing yourself in your content, all that kind of stuff. Those are the things you need to be doing. Now, Mike was the only person that did not have a presentation. All he did was basically a Q&A session, and it was amazing. He had a couple dozen people line up for an hour. He took questions about what it is. People had questions about this or that, the other. A lot of them thanked him for, really putting this industry on its ear, kicking it off. Basically a lot of people see him as the grandfather of attraction marketing. But, basically he pretty much said the same thing over and over. If you really kind of sat back and listened to what he was saying, not just hear it, but listen to it, he was talking about know yourself, positioning, value, and copy, pretty much. That's pretty much the kind of things. It was pretty much simple. It was amazing if you just really kind of got an aha. I got an aha moment there. That's what I kept hearing. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Then again, was able to take a picture with Mike and sit with him for a couple of minutes. You know, it's amazing when we break out through the sessions right after the end, and you have breakout sessions and stuff like that, and everybody swamps all the leaders and stuff like that, especially if they've just spoke. But in between, if you're out running a hallway real quick and you're going to jump back in, there was a couple of times where nobody was around. Some of these people were just sitting at a table. I was just able to go up, say hi real quick, introduce myself, and just say, hey, I appreciate your work, what you're doing. You know, can't wait to find out more about what you're doing next. And you know, it was great. Everybody was just so open and welcome to that. It was really almost surreal. But again, live events. Go figure. Todd Falcone, great presenter, great speaker, dynamic, engaging. No wonder he built a multi-million-dollar business. And the biggest tip from there is double digits a day. Keep the commission checks on their way. If you're building a network marketing company and you are the leader in that company and you are posturing yourself and you are making it happen, you know what you need to do. If you're not, let me tell you, now you know what you need to do. You need to be making those connections, whether it's on Facebook, asking questions, finding out what people are doing, what they want, getting them on to Skype, asking them even more, finding out how you can help them, seeing if they're open to an opportunity, things like that, connecting with people. He says connect with 10 people a day. You know, if you follow Todd Falcone, you know he pretty much picks up the yellow pages and starts dialing real estate people because that's what he can do. And he just doesn't care. He says, this is what I'm doing. And he brings people in his business all the time. He has a live call that he does on Mondays. A great guy. So I didn't write a whole lot about this because he was talking a lot about network marketing the traditional way. And I've been on a lot of his calls, followed him for a while. He used to be almost in my backyard in Monterey, California, but he's moved up to Washington now. But great guy, great presenter, great speaker, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion. One other thing that I took away from Todd was talk to your prospects, listen, and then build relationships. So don't just pitch them. And I know we all know this, but it's amazing how people still do this. I'll get emails all the time or Facebook connections all the time going, hey, it's nice to meet you. Are you open to a business opportunity? I'm in XYZ, and hey, there's a live call tomorrow night. You don't even know a thing about me, and you're already pitching me on a business. I mean, no, it's literally relationships first. Then when someone comes back, some people don't even reply back to your initial request for, hey, how you doing? More information kind of thing. That's all right. Don't chase them. But when you do talk to prospects, whether it's online, Skype chat, on the phone, or on Skype Live, listen. Don't just hear them. Listen, and they will tell you how to talk, how to close them, how to talk to them, how to present an opportunity. I mean, you got to know this stuff. Listening is so huge. Building that relationships is so huge. I know you guys know this, but that was my biggest takeaway from Todd. All right, my man, your man, Mr. Jonathan Budd. Y'all know him. Y'all love him, right? Y'all hear his videos. Hey, what's up, my friends? Y'all know it. And I mean, I even start saying that when I do my videos now. It's kind of freaky. I guess I've watched enough Jonathan Budd videos that kind of start sounding like that in the beginning. But one of the, again, lots of great stuff here. I just got a couple of slides. I'm going to kind of go through them pretty quick because I know time's moving on. You must have that warrior mindset so you can become unstoppable. Believe in yourself now. It's through challenges that we grow. Huge, right? I mean, you all guys know this stuff. You hear them over and over. But when you absorb this in your DNA, when you truly get what he's talking about, and then you start giving it away and start speaking that out to other people, man, it's amazing. People come back and go, oh, yeah. I've had people say, oh, yeah, you just sound like Jonathan. I'm like, I'm just reiterating some of the words because I've seen enough of his videos. But that's the idea, right? Believe in yourself now. It's through challenges that you grow. So he talked about know your conversions, right? Google AdWords Optimizer. If you guys followed his pay-per-click course or any of his pay-per-click trainings, you know the guy is relentless on testing, on split testing everything, is AdWords tracking everything. You guys all know this, but I just want to mention it again. This is some of the takeaways I got from what he said. You want to test your headline. You want to test your video, and it's huge. In your video, tell them what you're going to tell them in the first 9 seconds. You know, don't ramble on and then tell them. You want to be to the point. Again, that's more posture. That's command. So you want to tell people in the first 9 seconds what it is that you're going to tell them. Then tell them. Then wrap it up. 90 to 120 seconds is optimal. We are literally building an ADD society. When you have a capture page, you don't need a 10-minute video. A 1.5 minute, 2 minute, 2.5 minute video is enough. But give them the good stuff. Now on Google, though, if you're using capture pages for your pay-per-click, Google does not like autoplay. Don't do it. Don't put the autoplay on. Put it on your blog or other things if you want. Not even on your blog. I don't do it there either. But they don't like it on a capture page, so don't add that on. Definitely call to action. Definitely have a strong call to action. Those are the things that you want to do first. The design variables, your opt-in box, your copy doodles, your signature, those are things you can play with as well, but it's those first three things: headline, video, call to action. Those are the things you want to really kind of focus on split testing. Jonathan's always preaching about it. It's not, if you've seen one of his capture pages, it's the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th time that he's tested it and tested it and tested it and tweaked little things here and there. So again, if it's your business and you're doing pay-per-click, know your metrics. The number one secret: 5 things a day. I think we've just repeated that from a couple other people as well. 5 things a day, every day. Now, I think personally, Jonathan, man, I think you do more than 5 things a day, but I understand what he's saying. Definitely commit to something. Even if you can do 1 thing a day, do it daily. Commit to something. Work up to 5 things a day. Consistency is key. All right, Jonathan Bug continued. Right now, investing countless of hours of time, money, and resources. You're building a business. That's just flat out to it. You need to be able to invest in your stuff. Get the freaking traffic. This is what Jonathan talked about. Right now, Jonathan shared the 5 things that he did when he first started out, and they are different today. Again, 3 years later, right? Who knew, right? Things are changing, so always kind of know your surroundings. Again, a mastermind team will be able to help fill in the gaps for you. Right now, his traffic is pay-per-click, Yahoo and MSN. Google, I don't know what's up with that, but I mean, everybody's just like, whatever. Yahoo and MSN. Paid media traffic, right? There's a couple of websites here you can write down. Trafficvance.com, thefutureoftraffic.com, directcpv.com. So if you're talking about paid media sites, if you guys have followed any of the training that Jonathan's already done for this, and definitely kind of hook up with that if that's the direction you want to go, if you are ready to take on a new task. Again, don't overload yourself and get nothing done. Pick 1 or 2 areas. Get good at it. Facebook, especially the ads. I think Jonathan just had a killer Facebook training. He's had a couple of them now with ads. Definitely figure out what works and get on it, get it going. They are literally pennies on the link right now. Maybe $1.20 at first, but bring it on down to 50 cents, even low as 20 cents in some places. 4th area: banners, job sites, money-making sites, network sites, wealth advice sites. Banners seem to be making a comeback. Jonathan's got some strong angles on that. If you're in his Inner Circle coaching class, I know he did a couple of kick-butt webinars about that. And then also, one of my favorites, strategic SEO articles, blogs, loaded with long-tail keywords. Definitely, if you're blogging, you want to pay attention to your keywords. You want to write to your audience, but on the back end, you want to be thinking SEO, right? You want to write to your audience. Don't make it all keyword rich where it's kind of like, long tail keyword that's in there 10 times, but no, get some strategies. And you can Google this stuff. I mean, he's got some great SEO stuff in here, but it's easy to find. It's all over the place. All right, more stuff with some links here. So if you guys are paying attention, writing down some links, I got some here. If this is going too fast or there's too many, I'll have the full PowerPoint presentation and give it to Caitlin. We'll put it in the back office, so you guys don't have to cramp your hand trying to write down all these links. Just know it'll be there. You all obviously have this recording as well. So, again, more invest in hours and stuff. Create an authority brand by creating your own products. Now, this is huge, again, for people that want to step in that leadership role. You don't have to if you don't want to, but make that choice. Do it or don't do it. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. If you want to market other people's products, if you want to do affiliate marketing, if you want to just do that kind of stuff, that is perfectly fine. There are tons of people making an absolute killing just doing that. But if you want your face to be in the crowd, if you want to put your head higher than most other people and step up, then create your own products. Now, when you do that, there's a whole little world of stuff that could happen for you and or against you. So know that this is going to happen, especially for those of you that have run a previous business. You know that if you step out and stake your claim, you may get, a tomato tossed at you once in a while or whatever. Somebody's not going to be happy at something. You're not going to be able to please everybody. That is part of the deal. A lot of people don't handle that. So know what you're getting into, but make that decision, right? So enough about that. So things that you can make, right? Record a webinar, kind of like this. Put some slides together, present on something, especially if you're brand new, have a few people on your list. It's a must-have if you want to posture up in front of people's eyes. Interview top people. It's a great resource, and I myself am going to be doing this as well more and more. I have tons of people, great connections I made here at the No Excuses Summit, so I'll be doing some video interviews with people shortly. Record a special audio. You can use audacity.sourceforge.net. Great little resource there. Write your own ebook. A lot of people love to write. They can. Some people, a friend of mine just crushed out 3 ebooks, anywhere from 20 to 40 pages in the last 2 weeks. You can't tell me it cannot be done. This guy is a full-time business partner and actor, and he just crushed 3 of them in 2 weeks. So when you're focused, you literally can make it happen. Must-haves, graphic designer. There's a good site there, designgururyan.com, minisitefrog.com, and warriorforum.com. Great stuff in there for literally a couple of bucks. So graphic designer. Shopping cart. Right now, Jonathan's recommending oneshoppingcart.com. Your product, if you're going to do a physical product like a CD, a giveaway, or things like that some of the higher people have, marketingmembers.com is a good resource. All right. Next presenter, and this guy was quite a character. He's like an entertainer, and he's building a huge organization in his network company, and he's doing a lot of what a lot of people consider old school tactics. Not tactics is a bad thing, but just old school style, but it's still alive. It's still working. There's nothing wrong with old school. Some people can do it and some people can't. Don't sweat over that. But what Cedric is doing is some phenomenal stuff. One of my things that I like that he said is you become the top 5 people you hang out with, right? We all know that. More millionaires have been made in MLM. How can you not get excited about that? I mean, be excited about if you're in a network business, don't be the closet advocate for it. I mean, get out there and tell people about it. You'll be excited about it. Yeah, don't confuse excitement versus passion. That's a different thing for a whole different webinar. But get excited about what you have to offer people. If you're afraid, then you're not in the right business. Prospect while you're out. Don't go out to prospect. Excuse me. So what he talks about that, he uses these drop sizzle cards. They look like $100 bills, and he folds it in half. He has a stamp with his name and number on it, and he drops these all over the place. Now, I did drop cards for a while as well, not the $100 bills. I just did these colorful cards from another company. But he told a couple of crazy stories how people will go out of their way to jump all over that $100 bill just because they think it's real. And it's a trigger, right? You're getting people off guard. When they open it up, they realize, oh, it's not a real $100 bill. But what have you done? You've grabbed their emotion. Now, if they really want to make some money, chances are they're going to call that number. They're going to look at that website. So that's what he uses was the drop business cards, the $100 bill card, which was pretty ingenious. So I didn't take a whole lot away. Cedric really told a lot of stories as well, which is great. Another thing that you do online, offline, is stories, right? Connect people with stories. Why? It's relationship building. It connects them on that part of the brain, fires those neurons that get people at the heart. So that's really what I took away from what Cedric shared. Great guy, great connector. All right, Tim Irway. Man, I know we're blitzing on this real quick, and then we got a lot more to cover, so I want to be cognizant of the time here. But Tim Irway, another right-hand man for Mike Dillard in his business, this guy was a little behind the scenes from making all his capture pages and driving the traffic, things like that. So he broke this down real quick. So I got a couple of slides here. So if you are doing more capture pages and stuff like that, you definitely want to listen to this. One thing I liked what Tim talked about, you absolutely must get in the mind of your prospect. Understand what drives them, their dreams and fears. This is much simpler than you think. Again, we make things so complicated. I know I did for months. The first 3 or 4 months online, I was trying to do it all and be there for everybody and do everything, and I got nowhere. But when I stood back and actually invested in myself and connected with a mentor, and they were able to break it down, somebody who's been there and done that, I'm like, oh, wow, that is that easy. Anyway, so 3 things you need to do to build a multi-million-dollar business: drive traffic, convert traffic, and monetize. Just keep those 3 things in mind. Any action that you're doing to build your funnel, build your brand, needs to be in one of these 3 categories. The purpose of a capture page, the first thing here. The gateway to your funnel, of course, right? 4 things that you must have. Your headline, which is your first hook. Sub-headline is optional. The second hook, but they're very effective. Your offer, your bribe, your capture form, and legal stuff, which is now a necessity. So 4 things that you want to think about. And again, when you're building it, we're just breaking it. Tim's just breaking it down for you. These are the 4 things to build your page. That's it. So continue. Oh, and you get know people, and he's going to show you how. Break down the headlines. Is it pique interest? You want to ask questions. You ask questions yourself first. Don't ask this question on your headline, but think about this. Who is your prospect? What is their problem, and how are you going to solve it? And what keeps them up at night? So if is it making money? Is it more traffic? Is it leads? Is it conversions? Is it monetized? What is it that your capture page or your program or service is going to offer? Put your prospect, be in their shoes. Ask yourself these questions and then write your title around that. Magic 8 core motivators. Now these are huge, so you may want to write these down. These are the big time motivators that he has in all his copy. These are the triggers for people that they need to make that purchase, that decision, that buying decision. It's either make money, save money, have more time, save effort, improve health, impress others, increase pleasure, or eliminate pain. Again, I'm going to repeat these real quick if you're writing them down. Make money, save money, have more time, save effort, right? Make things easier, improve health, impress others. And I wouldn't have thought about that one, but impress others, that's like your posture, your about me story, right? Increase pleasure or eliminate pain. So those are the 8 core motivators. Remember those and start using those in all your copy and your videos. Touch upon these. Hit these often and you'll see a difference in your marketing. What is the primary core motivator of your prospect? Know your market, not just the person, but know your market in general. Get into the mind of your market. If you're talking to brand new people online, if you're talking to seasoned veterans and you have a higher product, if whatever it is, know your market and then get in the motivators and think like they do. All right, more stuff. Break down the bribe and offer. Tim talked about this is the freebie, right? This is the part that people opt in for. The single biggest factor to convert traffic into leads. This is the part where you have your video or not, and he talks about that. Whatever it is, it needs to be catching to your prospect, to your market in general. That's why it's so important to know that. I know a lot of you guys already know this, but this is if you know this and you know you're on the right path. So that's the single biggest factor there. Test the delivery format of that offer as well. Video, audio, ebooks, right? What's the best squeeze pages? Those are the ones that typically, for him, converted well above the fold, right? So you don't have to drill down. You don't have to scroll down. Everything was in one page. Those the tighter ones. The simpler ones seem to work better. Go figure. Less to do, right? I don't know. You need to test what works for you and your delivery method and your market. Always be testing, ABT. He says some of the best videos, again, 60 to 90 seconds. The best delivery method because all the content is in one box, right? But simple text also converts just as well. So again, he talked about some of the simpler pages that he designed and that he put up. Some of the stupid ones were converting better, if not just the same, but sometimes better than the slick ones with all the little pretty doilies on them. So it's all about knowing your market, what works well for them. Your opt-in form should just ask first name and best email. Changing that word to best email triggers that, because I don't know about you, sometimes I'm sure you've done it like a lot of other people. You put in an email address that is just, I just want the freebie, but I don't want anybody to follow up with me, right? Well, there's a little catch there by if you have put best email, then that's what you're going to be looking. That's what you're looking for, and that's what people are most likely to be able to add because you hit that trigger. Don't forget to add the core motivators. Congruency is, or should be in your message, is huge. So all the way from your headline, your sub-headline, your opt-in offer, your bribe, your video, congruency. You want to think, you want to act all the way through your whole message. So great stuff that Tim gave. Great presentation there. All right, Mark Overson. A lot of you guys already know Mark. You know what he's all about. You know how he operates. He literally will get in the mind all the way down to the core essence of a person and pull it out. It's just phenomenal. Mark does an amazing job. He literally has studied the art of psychology to be able to do this. So one of the things I liked what Mark said is until you change your downline's lives, you will never make serious money. Don't ever tell me your prospects don't have the money. It means you don't have the offer. That's huge. You all know what business Mark's in. It's a $3,000. And he always tells you, you're going to bring a little bit more to the table because I'm going to show you how to do this, this, and this. When that offer becomes heavy and the money becomes light, the sale happens. So again, when you know your market, you know your delivery method, you know what you need to do, you need to have your offer, right, heavy, and the money becomes light. That means you really dug into what the person wants and needs. And don't forget those eight core motivators. Now, you also want to tell other people whose life is better because of yours. This is another little trademark thing that Mark does. I know several other people do as well. And that's such a great, powerful statement there. So when you can really touch your downline and help them help other people, that's when the money starts coming in. Now, Mark also talked about refinement. For those of you who are there, that he talked about a little underwear story. I'm not going to share it here. You guys can message me if you want. But refinement. The reason is when everything that you have now was for the rich, right? So think about, he shared a little bit about, having a nice car, having a nice home, having air conditioning, have a refrigerator, right? It was for the wealthy in the beginning, and then it was made more effective for other people. Refinement. Where do you want to be? Envision yourself in your own refinement. Nice clothes, $500 shirt, $175 pair of underwear. You figure it out. All right, Katie Freiling, we're moving on. We're getting close to wrapping this up. So if you guys are still with me, totally appreciate you. But we all know her and love Katie Freiling. Love one of the things that she says, your business is an extension of you. Where your fear is where you have the most potential to grow. Two kind of sentences that she talked about throughout, but that is so true. It's an extension of you. So like a baseball bat for a professional batter, it's an extension. Your blog, your marketing, it's an extension of you. It's not something different. That builds congruency, because if someone opts in and they find out that you are different than who you proclaim to be, then you have a total disconnect there. So keep that in mind. Build a lifelong brand and profit center around what you're passionate about. Why? Because 78% of consumers trust peer-to-peer recommendations when only 14% of people buy off of ads. That is huge. It is the age of recommendation. A lot of people have already said this. So take that into heart, take that into consideration. That is why it is so important. If you are branding yourself, right, and you're building a leadership, you're putting your face out there, you need to have your own opt-in offer. You need to have your own product. Even if it's a $7 product, build your own and then put in affiliate products behind it. Have people pay you first. That's posture. Then they get to know you and like you, and then you can recommend another service. They are more to buying that service. If this is making sense to anybody, definitely let me know, because I totally got it. And that was just at another awakening when Katie said this. I heard it before, but I'm like, oh, it makes total sense, even more so now. All right, now this one kind of threw me too. In 2010, Pepsi dropped their Super Bowl ad to shift to marketing to social media. If you guys are on social media, if you're getting it and you are helping other people to leverage it towards their goals, you are in the winner's circle. If you are thinking that social media is the end game, there's more to do. Trust me, there is more to do. So don't ever stop just because you think you know social media. Share it and use it as a tool. It's a leverage. A lot of people are playing around on social media and they think they get it, but at the end of the day, are you making any money? Are you making any leads? It's great to be able to make contact after contact, but if you're not engaging and bringing them off social media and bringing them into a funnel, onto your blog, into your business, you're missing the boat. So social media is just a start. It's a tool. Now, check it out. Even Google has a Facebook fan page, right? Now, there's a hot tip. Get a Google profile. So that's huge right now. Go to google.com/profiles. If you don't have one, get one. It will up your credibility huge. Just go to it. All right, Katie Freiling continued. More stuff there. Become a giver of great value. Be consistent until you become the source. That is so huge. So you keep giving value and value and value, and all of a sudden people start coming back to you. You're attracting people. Don't stop. Just be consistent. They will come back to you more and more, and you will be recognized as the source for information. Why is it when Katie Freiling posts a blog post, she'll have 40, 50, 60 retweets within a day or two, sometimes a few hours, sometimes a week? Why does she have 50, 60, 80, 100 comments on it? Because she's been giving value for a year now on social media, on blogging, on branding, personal development, all that stuff. So the 6 pillars to social media. Your personal brand, right? To be successful, you need to believe that you are. There's a story here I want to stop real quick. And one of the gentlemen in the room stood up on stage, one of the speakers, and he says, If you believe you're a leader, stand up. If you believe you are a leader, stand up. And less than a third of the room stood up. Now, again, I want to remind you, 800 people. If you were in the room, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 800 plus people in the room, and only a third of the people believe that they were a leader. Or maybe they just didn't want to stand up, whatever, get over it. But that was amazing. And I got to tell you, a couple years ago, I was not in that position. Today, I jumped up. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know what my organization is going to look like a year from now. It doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing. You need to empower yourself to be that leader as well. Know that you are. So that was huge. I just wanted to add that real quick. Align with your purpose and mission. Focus on personal growth. Again, there's that personal growth. We all know it to be true. Remove limiting beliefs. There it is again. You've heard this trend a couple of times now. Limiting beliefs is the anchor will keep you down. Identify them and get rid of them. Outsource them if you have to. Read a good book. How to build a great brand. Give consistent value and, again, become the source. Number 2, pillar of social media mastery was your blog. Try and get your blog as yourname.com if you can. Obviously, branding 101 is your name. That congruency, familiar message. If you can get your name on all your sites, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, your blog, great. If you can't, then go for a branding theme, right? Like I have the networkdad.com because my name was already taken by some Yahoo in Chicago who is my exact name and has not done a thing with it. Whatever. Anyway, go, if you're going to do a blog, make sure it's a WordPress.org blog, right? It's obviously the best. A lot of us already know that. Build your list, your biggest asset. That's just building your list. Obviously, this is true. A lot of people who are already doing this know this. If you don't know how to build your list, definitely need to focus on this now. This week, next week, by the end of the month, have your funnel in place so that you can start building your list. And try and post your list 2 or 3 times a week. Be consistent on it, 2 or 3 times a week. Touch people, pulse them, right? Your blog gives credibility and social proof. All right, I got more. Got lots more here. Number 3, 6 pillars to social media mastery. Social following, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, right? Now, 20 minutes a day is really all you need. You can do more. A lot of people are doing more. But again, know what you're doing. I mean, one of my 5 things is throughout the day is social media. I want to make sure and touch bases and keep active so people know that I'm around and constant with it, right? But if the more I spend on connecting and watching videos and commenting on people's statuses, the more it takes away from actually productivity versus busy work. So you want to know that. So good, compelling profiles. Oh, back to your social media sites. You know, your time is precious, right? So stick with a small game plan. Identify some time, give it the time, and then try not to go overboard with it. Good, compelling profiles. Make sure you fill it out. I still see tons of Facebook profiles that are just, there's hardly anything there. I mean, these people already have 4 or 5, 800, 1,000 friends. They still don't have a lot of information on their profile. Get some information. If I go to your profile and there's nothing to connect with, that's it. There's nothing to connect with. So you want to have a decent looking profile. Spend some time on it. Really 45 minutes to an hour is all you need. Get it done if you don't already have it. Engage in your community. Ask questions and follow up on the conversation. Some of the best running threads I've seen on Facebook or on Twitter, but mostly on Facebook, is a question in the beginning. I just did a post asking the right questions. So ask a question. Ask a thought-provoking question every day. And you'll notice after 20, 30 days, you'll get tons of people following you and giving their input. And they are telling you how to connect with them. They're telling you what products to give them next. It is amazing. Once you ask the question, read the information, and listen for what they are telling you. Again, that's an art. Listen for what they're saying. You can identify a leader that you want to connect with. You can identify somebody who's needy, maybe needy of a product, or like the 7-figure networker. I mean, it's amazing, guys. Definitely want to do it. All right, and then ask questions. Follow up on the conversation. Don't just leave an open-ended conversation. It's nothing. It's like going to the store. If you go to talk to somebody at a party, right, and you go say hi, and then they turn around and walk away, or they say hi and you say hi, and then that's it. I mean, that's done. Well, how lame is that? You know, follow through on some of the conversations. It's not about the numbers. It's not about 5,000 friends. It's about building relationships first. So there it is there. Now, one of my favorites, obviously, is building a tribe. You know me, I'm all about building a tribe, mastermind groups. You know, find people in your niche and cross-promote other people's content. That's what a tribe is supposed to do. Create a multifaceted circle of influence. The law of reciprocity kicks in. and you always want to reach up. So you don't want to reach up too high and try and get somebody in your tribe. If you're brand new to social media or blogging or pay-per-click or whatever it is, pretty much social media and blogging is what a tribe is good for because of that, synergy and because of cross-promoting your content, which is what syndication is. You want to have people that are similar in your niche and in your sphere of influence. So if you have a couple hundred followers on Twitter or a couple thousand or 100,000, you're going to find people in your same relative area. But you want to kind of reach up a little bit, get somebody who's just a little step above you or something like that. Now, I want to stop real quick for just a second here. Syndication. I see it as building a bridge. There are two sides to the bridge, over a river, over a lake, a creek, whatever. But think about this. When you're syndicating somebody, when you're passing on somebody else's content, you do it for two reasons. One side of the bridge is you're connecting with that other person. The person, like if I go to syndicate Katie Freiling's information on her blog by sharing it to my followers, I am connecting with her. I'm letting her know I am following her. I'm giving her social proof. The other side of the bridge is your followers. It's your community. Get information, syndicate information that makes sense to your niche and your brand and your community. Think about this. If you're into underwater basket weaving and you start sharing all kinds of content about food processors, there is a huge disconnect. Your followers are not going to see you as an authority figure on underwater basket weaving. You just got to know that you need to know your niche. You need to know your audience and bring information they are going to want. Know your market. It goes back to the beginning. Know who you are and know your niche. If you haven't identified, work on it. If you don't know what it is, have a couple of people help you to identify your mastermind group. Yeah, it can pulse you a little bit and figure this out. It is so huge and critical if you're going to build a brand and what that brand is around that you need information flowing to you and from you that's in your niche or at least close to it. All right, there's more. Number 5 and 6, build your email list. Again, this is your biggest asset. Engage with your list 1 to 2 times a week. Add real world issues once in a while, like season events, like weekends, Christmas, birthdays, things that people want to know that you're real. It's one thing to stuff your list with a whole bunch of autoresponders. Yeah, that's great to get started, but we're starting to notice a trend. A lot of the top marketers, they don't have a whole big series of autoresponders anymore. Some do and some don't. Pick what works for you. But even if you have 3 months, 6 months, a year's worth of autoresponders down there, still continue to tell people when you have a brand new blog post that you've just written. Tell them that you had it, because it's a great way to connect with people, right? You did the work, you created the video, you created the blog post, the article. Feed it to your list. Tell them, connect with them. If the weekend's coming up, tell them, hey, I'm off for this weekend. I just wanted to touch base with quick. And you've seen some of these people do it. This is how you want to connect with your people. It lets them know you're real. It lets them know that you really care about them, is stopping by and saying hi. Number 6, back to number 5. Always give value and add a mini launch once a month. This is huge, and there's a whole lot more. There's been a ton of videos in the 7-Figure Networker about building your list, monetizing your list, why it's so important to have a $7 product in the beginning. Is because if you have just a bunch of people that are hanging on to the free stuff, that's all you're going to have is the people hanging on to the free stuff. If you pull some once in a while with an offer of value that you recommend that has a finance tag attached to it, then the people purchase it, they're going to kind of know that, okay, once in a while I'm going to get hit. They expect it. It's okay. Don't be afraid to offer them something once in a while that requires some money. Tools require money. You're not going to get 100 figures. You're not going to get 6 figures a year or a month on just free stuff. So you want to pulse it once in a while, and don't be afraid to tell people get off your list if that's all they're there for is free stuff. Posture up once in a while. Add a mini launch, whether it's for your business or a launch or something like that. Add it once in a while. Multiple streams of income. Add your products first. Again, this is huge. People will buy from you more after you built that know, like, and trust. If you've postured yourself as a leader, you've offered your own products first, they will come back when you offer and recommend something else because you've already connected with them. Huge stuff here. This is awesome stuff. All right, build an affiliate products and your network company, again, after you put out something else. Recommended tools. ones that you use and personally can lend credit to. Now, what's even better than that is if you have some training videos to go with it. Like, for instance, if you offer the 7-Figure Networker, hey, I want to show you what it's done for me. I'm going to give you a peek behind my back office. I'm going to show you some of the leads I've gotten from the 7-Figure Networker. This is what you can do. This is how I brand my company through the 7-Figure Networker. Little tidbits like that will give credibility to, one, that you're using it, two, the other person can use it, right? There's a huge tip there. All right. Now, these are a couple of people I was not able to catch because, honestly, well, I did work the hallway a little bit because I had the opportunity to do so. So I don't have any takeaways from this except for Joseph O'Day and Jim Yagi talked about traffic. And I am getting the DVD set, so I have no issues with that. So once it comes out, you guys ought to grab it. David Schwinn and Adam Holland, you know, Adam Holland talks about backlinks. I love backlinks, authority links, all that kind of stuff. There are tons of resources out there. So I didn't really get any takeaways from here because I was out there basically talking to some other leaders when nobody else was around. And I know a lot of people go for the actual event and the content, and yes, that's what you need to do. But I tell you, once in a while, I looked, and some of the people that are making 6- and 7-figure earners, you know what they're doing? They're hanging around at the back. They're hanging around in the hallway. You're able to connect with one or two people here and there and stuff. It was phenomenal. So I was able to, again, spend a couple of minutes with Mike Dillard and obviously my friend Jonathan and Aaron and a bunch of other people, get a couple little videos here and there. So there's more than one way, more than one reason to go to a live event. Again, meeting after the meeting, connecting up, right? Posturing yourself, being presentable with other people is huge. This was worth 10 times more than the price of the flight and the admission. Anyway, all right, final thoughts. And before I head to a bonus, I want to offer something back to you guys with no hooks. So I just want to set that real clear. So again, appreciate you guys for all hanging on real quick. I know we're heading into almost into overtime here. So final thoughts. All speakers shared some common traits, right? No surprise here. They struggled before success, but they all identified a turning point. Again, if you don't have a turning point in your story, put one in there as like, that all changed when I did this. And you could be in your turning point right now. But if you don't identify one, if you don't have one, make one today. I give you permission to make one today, right now. Put it in there. Get your turning point going so that people see the journey. Obviously, they struggled before success. People have made money and lost money and then made it again. Why? Because they knew how to do it, because they resolved back to one point in time, typically. They all had a commitment and desire. They all had trial and error without giving up. Giving up was never an option. And if it's not an option to you, you will get there someday. Just keep moving it and keep kind of tweaking what it is that you're doing. If it's not working for you, tweak it a little bit. Find something else that is. You will find your niche. You will identify your passion. You will become that leader if that's what you want to do. But again, know yourself. Invested in themselves. Started with their strengths. That was so huge. I mean, I put thousands of dollars into myself. I tell people, 5 years ago, if you and I were the only two people in the room, I could not lead you in silent prayer. I was that intimidated or shy. Are you kidding? Not anymore. Because I've invested in myself and I figured out how to get out of my own way. I figured out how to stretch my comfort zone. In fact, shatter the freaking thing. So get in yourself. Invest in yourself. Going to live events will definitely do it, especially if you start connecting with leaders like this. Value first and always. Huge. Underlying trend, right? Okay. Now, I got a bonus for you guys because I am so passionate about an About Me page and so strong about making sure that people have their story. I have a challenge for you. I'm giving you 10 tips to an About Me page. So, again, you can write these real quick, or you will have this presentation and video in the back of the 7-Figure Network. I'll make sure of it. But there's 10 strategies, and I took this directly from Katie Freiling's Blog Mastery course, and I have given this to everybody that I've come across with, that I've mentored or mastermind with. This is huge. So follow these principles. First one is your intro paragraph. Let your readers know exactly what your blog is about. What are the benefits for them? Why should they read your blog? Your intro paragraph is your first hook. Number 2, share why you created this blog. What is it? Give them a little bit more about what the blog is about. Why are you doing this? Why are you here? Right? Why are you sharing your information? Share your passions and visions for the blog. Set the blog, or set the big, sorry, that's a typo, set the big picture goals, right? So give them an overview of what you're moving towards. And that should actually kind of scare you a little bit, right? It should push you. It's designed, it's supposed to push you a little bit. I'm going to tell you why at the end. Number 3, brief outline or timeline of your life story. Boy, I really choked at this one. Of your life story. Focus more on personal growth. So this really kind of leads to number 4. Share your low points. Like if you've heard Katie's story, $30,000 in debt, credit card bills, blah blah blah. And it all changed when? There's that turning point. There's that pivotal shift. You want to connect with people. If you don't have identified a turning point yet, put one in now and know that you are at that turning point. Use this. Use a training. Use a mentor. Use whatever. It all changed when I connected with Mark Overson or Jonathan, but it all changed when. That is key because people want to know the journey. A lot of times you show up at somebody's site and it's polished. It's done, right? It's going, it's good. You see a leader, you've connected with them, but a lot of people want to know the journey. A lot of people want to know, what did you can come from? Where did you do before that I can connect with? Why is that so important? Because people are at that same point. You are now, you were last year, 6 months ago, whatever it was. That's how you connect with people. That's why your About Me page is so important. So share the low points, share your transition, and share that you are moving forward. All right, more steps. Brand your accomplishment. Even if you think they're not that noteworthy, give yourself some kudos. This is where you're going to pause for a second and you're going to put in those power words. This is where you're going to find those characteristics that you seek from other people, right? I asked you to write those down earlier in the presentation. Whatever those words are, put those in your About Me story. Again, right now, your About Me story should really kind of push you a little bit and you're like, wow, I want to be like that. Because then it's going to drive you. So here's my challenge. When you write your About Me story, I think you ought to change it up about every 6 months. I think you ought to take your About Me story, and if it doesn't have these 10 points by the time we go through them, put them in. And put in the words and the characteristics, the charisma, the power, those words that are going to be able to go, wow, a little pizzazz in there, but posture is huge. So put those in there. If it's not stretching you, if you look back and you reread your About Me story, if it doesn't push you or excite you or motivate you to be better, mix it up a little bit, and then in 6 months do it again. I think you ought to continue to stretch. If you come back after 6 months and you feel that you are exactly where your About Me page is, then it's worked. Then kind of redo it. Put in another story in there. You're always going to be making, bigger stories. Like my team and I just made $26,000 in a week a few months ago when we launched our product. That's a money-making story. Now, again, money stories you got to be real cautious with because of the FTC, and I get that. But, you have opt-in offers, right? You have a certain story. You're going to change it every 6 months. If you're not, then you need to make sure and get a story. You got to have a story. Okay, number 5, brand your accomplishments. Number 6, include photos and or videos. Share your interests and hobbies. This is huge. Why? People want to connect with you. They are seeking leaders out that are like them. They are desperately desiring to connect with people. If you have all the fluff and stuff and all the high-level accomplishments only, there's no connection there because they cannot relate. If you share that you struggled, like everybody does, and then you share your turning point, now there's a place to connect and there's hope. That's what you want to have in your About Me page. All right, number 7, clear call to action. What do you want them to do? In fact, call to action ought to be on everything that you do. Your video, your article, your posts, your blog posts, anything, you always should have a call to action. Again, at social media, if you think it's done, if you stop at the end, and there is nothing left for anybody to do, if you don't guide them to do something, they won't. If you guide them to leave a comment, opt in into my newsletter, follow me here, connect with me here, hit me up on Skype, ask me questions. If you add those in, then chances are some people are going to take you up on it. And oh my gosh, they may show up in your business. What a concept, right? So clear call to action, definitely have that. Direct them to your contact page or form. So the call to action is definitely doing that, but having that contact page there, right, you tell them. So at the end of your About Me page, you could have, to stay current on my blog and my shenanigans, definitely opt into my newsletter so that anytime I write a blog post or whatever, that you'll be notified first, right? Or something like that. And then what do? You give them the form right below it. So, I mean, I'm only speaking to what I need to do as well. So I'm about to add mine in. But have that on your page. All right, number 9. Get creative. Link to a relative post that's like about you or something funny or something that's like family oriented if you have a family or something like that. Or a hidden page that doesn't have to be on your blog, but something that's different. So you reward them for going and reading all the way down at the bottom of your About Me page. An example would be, click here to learn 5 things you did not know about me, right? Or click here for a little family video I did on my last vacation. There's something funny or goofy or something like that. I tell you, if you get out there and make a little bit of a fool of yourself, man, I have more comments on the funny videos or things that I put out there than I do on the ones that are all uptight and posture and training and stuff like that. Be connectable to people. All right, number 10, write your story in Word and copy it to your blog post. That way you can see it. That's kind of a no-brainer. A lot of people do that now. And here's some additional ideas when writing your story. Write your story with your readers in mind. Again, your audience, right? Write to your friends. Don't write to Google. Write to your friends. Be connectable. Throw some words in there that show you're a real person. You're alive. You know, be creative with that. How can you relate to them? Write your story to appeal to your readers' emotions, not logic. Again, I struggled with this. It all changed when I did this, right? That's triggering the mind, hitting those neurons on that connecting level. So not just logic, be relations. Be colorful, descriptive, paint a picture, you know, both good and bad. The pain, oh my gosh, I was in debt up to my eyeballs. I had to sell a cat. I mean, you know, whatever it is, you know, paint that picture to connect with people. Make it a little bit of funny. Add a little humor, goes a long way. And if you're not good at it, get somebody to help you get good at it. Make it eye-friendly, easy to read, small paragraphs, good spacing. It's so difficult to go to an About Me page that is nice and lengthy, but doesn't have good spacing or small. You know, if the paragraph is like 5 or 6 lines to 10 lines, you've lost me. If it's small font, you've lost me. If there isn't interjecting section titles or extra subject lines to really paint the story more, in the beginning, my problem was this, my solution, this. Then you can chunk out your About Me page. So you take a good 1,500 word, you know, About Me page, and you chunk it out a little bit, and then people can absorb it a little bit more. They can chew on it a little bit more. So definitely use some bold letters once in a while. Inject subject lines or subject headers. That's awesome stuff. Okay. All right, last thing I want to do, I want to give back to people that want to take action now, and this is free. I did this for a few people, and again, I am not perfect on my blog, but I know where I'm going, and I know the value that I have, and I know what I'm creating for other people. I am offering anybody listening here on this call a free 15-minute blog evaluation, because I see so many blogs out there where their message is not congruent. I don't know what their blog is about in the first 9 seconds of their header. I don't know who they are. I don't have an About Me page. I want to help give that to people. I don't have a whole lot of time, but for this call only, if you're on here, I want you to connect with me. If you want just a little bit of guidance for free for a 15-minute free consultation kind of thing, we're going to be able to get to know each other real quick. I'm just going to kind of survey your blog. I'm just going to give you my 2 cents on it. Take away with it what you will. It doesn't really matter. I can video the thing, because when I get to talking, as you can hear, I can get going. I get really passionate about this. Obviously, your About Me page is super critical and super important. But here's what I will cover. The header, for ease of identifying what your blog is about. If you don't have a header, and if you don't tell people what your blog is about in 3 or 4 seconds, you lose them. Believe it or not, people are passing you by, because I look at a blog and I'm like, I don't get it. I see pictures of butterflies to cantaloupe. I don't know what this blog is about. But you want to send a clear message on what it is. Categories for congruency. Your picture to your categories. It's right below your categories. I mean, your categories are right below your picture, your title, right? So they should be congruent with the theme or tagline. If you don't have a tagline, you definitely need to have one. Your opt-in offer for placement, look and feel. Multiple points for list entry. I didn't realize this until just a couple of weeks ago. You could have several points of entry for your list that actually convert better. Your opt-in offer is actually, and this is from a friend of mine who tested this, and this is one person, but I totally believe it. His opt-in offer converted 2%. 2% of the people that came in through his opt-in offer. He had 5 other points of entry to build his list. The highest one converting at 15%, or 15% of the people that came into his list came in on one other point, and it was not his opt-in offer. I was shocked at that, and let me tell you, I am actually changing my blog this weekend and adding a bunch of those points. I can show you what some of those points are. All right, if any of this is interest to you, hit me up in the community, in the 7-Figure Networker community. Hit me up on Facebook, Ken Pickard. Skype me at Ken-Pickard. If you guys want a free 15-minute evaluation, I'd love to be able to connect with you guys even more, and I'm doing this for a short time, first come, first serve kind of thing. So I'm about to wrap it up and open if anybody has any questions. For more information, though, definitely contact Caitlin at transformation.caitlin@gmail.com. Caitlin has all the ins and outs of some events that are going on, both 7-Figure Networker events that Jonathan Budd are doing. Awesome, phenomenal stuff. And I fully expect more events out of JB and the crew because, I mean, it's just phenomenal stuff. And man, all kinds of great stuff going on. So for more information, definitely contact Caitlin. All right, guys, that is it. So it's been a record time. If you guys have any questions, just about, 10 minutes past the 90-minute mark. So I will go in and see if I can find a couple of questions real quick. Yes. So if you guys resonated with any of this, let me know. Give me some energy. A little drained after 90 minutes. So if you guys want any more points, you know where to reach me now, so I can certainly do this. Okay, so how can we print the screen? Glenn, you don't need to print the screen. The webinar and this presentation will be back. I'll give it to Caitlin to put back in the 7-Figure Networker for sure. Yeah, I did a lot of different stuff in there. I took tons of notes. Okay. All right. I think I just, guys are quick. I didn't realize it would change. I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, connect with me if you're on Skype. Okay, how to created this blog. Chris, how to create this blog, set my social media. Crescenzio, I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. Hit me up in Skype if you want, or on Facebook if you have a certain question about a blog or something like that, or how to get that created. I can certainly point you in the right direction. How to create my contact me page or form. How to create your your contact form. If you're opting in for your list, you're going to take the form from either your Aweber or your GetResponse, and you can certainly contact them or Google it or search it. But there's a spot in there that says get your form. Grab your form, copy the code into your blog. I'm not going to go through the steps on how to do that. You can certainly search YouTube. There's tons of videos on it. But if you are familiar with blogging and copying and pasting the code into either a widget or a text box or on a blog post or an About Me page, you can certainly create that. Okay. Thanks for the webinar. Went fast. Yeah, can we get a copy? Yes. Again, the copies will be, slides will be in the back office. Hey, Jay, thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it, brother. All right, so personalities. So Crescenzio, you're also talking about what are the different personality traits. I'm not exactly sure. There are 4 main personality types. When you get to know and understand people and listen to them, you will identify the personality that loves to have fun, and you can start talking to them about having fun in your business or whatever it is you want to talk about. There's people that like to help other people, right? Those are the supporters. They don't like to necessarily be up front or in the center spotlight per se, like the people that like to have fun do, but they are more organized, they're more down to earth, solid colors of clothes and stuff like that. So they definitely have more to offer as far as support. So that's definitely a great way to go. And then another personality type is the director, the person, the Ruby, the type A personality. They're they're center stage, they take action, they're bold, they're decisive. Definitely you want to talk to them about that. And then the fourth personality type is like the accountant, the number cruncher, the person that likes to have all the details before they make a decision. So if it's somebody in your business like that, give them the details and then tell them I'll follow up with you in 48 hours or something like that. So those are the different personalities. If that was your question, then hopefully I answered that. Melissa, thanks for the shout out. Brian, thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it. Yeah, definitely tag me on Facebook. You guys are welcome. Thanks for filling us in on your takeaways. Absolutely. I love doing this stuff. And I'm going to be doing more when I go to events. The takeaways, flip video cameras, interviews, pictures. You guys, when you go to live events, bring a flip. Bring your notebook. Bring your camera. Take advantage when you hang around somebody. These people, if they're the people who are successful in this business, networking online or offline, are professional in building relationships. They know the value of connecting with other people. They're going to do it. They did the same thing. There's nothing different with them taking pictures of their mentors 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago versus you doing the same thing with them. So definitely take advantage of that. Yeah. And giving takeaways like this from an event is a great way to give back to your audience, back to your list as well. So definitely want to add that. All right, Marguerite, appreciate that. Louise, thanks. Definitely, guys, rock. All right, Juan, you're welcome. How long have you been doing all this, Andy? This is a great question. I've been online a year and a half, not full time, but I mean been present. For the first 6 months, I failed miserably. I have no problem admitting that because I think everybody does. I was not born with this is how it is. I mean, I followed like Jonathan, and I tried to do everything that he did. Right? I mean, every week he led a new webinar. It was article marketing. I go try and write articles, and then next week about YouTube videos. I go try and do. It was crazy until I realized, stupid, that I could only do 1 or 2 at a time and get good at it. So when I invested in myself is when I literally made that transformation journey. That's my transformation time, is when I got a mentor, when I invested into how do I do this? And he said, stop. What is it that you want to do? And then I identified what I like. I like social media. I can connect with people. I'm a people person. Once I started doing that, I found a few other people that liked the same thing, connected with them. We put a tribe together, a mastermind group. I had launched one product, went well, launched a second product, did a small live event, and now here I am a few months after that. So that's it. And so really getting it done halfway decent, just less than a year. Actually, 7 or 8 months. Opinion on Arctic Coop videos? I don't know what you want. If you're talking about getting an opinion on some type of video, I'm not sure if that's a system or a name brand or what. I'm not exactly sure. I post videos on YouTube. I also post them on Vidler. I make some private because there's some training. We load them up for my team. We load them up on EasyS3. I mean, there's all different kinds of things you want to do. Again, identify who you are, what you want to give, the value you want to give, and keep going through that mode until you become successful. Successful, again, is creating opt-ins, creating leads, creating money out of something. So if you're doing videos for an affiliate product like the 7-Figure Networker, great. Do a couple of videos on what you get out of the 7-Figure Networker. That's going to connect with people. Adam, there are several Ken Pickards on Facebook. It's the one with my face in the beginning. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm in California, if that helps. All right. Brad was at the No Excuses Summit. Awesome, Brad. Great. So hopefully I did okay. If you got some takeaways that are different, we'd love to be able to connect with you. I'm looking to build out a couple more mastermind groups as well. So always looking forward to connecting with people. All right, thanks. Appreciate that. Susanna, thanks. We'd love to be able to help you out. Anything I can do to help you on your blog. Again, I'm doing this for a short time, so take advantage of it now. All right, Bruno, thanks for the request. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Adam, you're welcome. Yeah, lots of content. I just tried to give as much as I could from what I took away from the event. It was an awesome event. By the way, guys, if you're still hanging on, yes, No Excuses 2 is going to happen. This was supposed to be a one-time event. Talking to Ray and Fernie, they got so much feedback from the event that they definitely have to do it again. Price will be higher, though. But an event like this with so many awesome presenters in one place, guys, do whatever it is you can do to get away from this. I mean, to go there. Jonathan Budd's got an event coming up with 6 master marketers. Get there. I mean, Katie's going to have an event coming up. Get there. Get to these events, especially when there's more people like this presenting, because what it is you hear things from one person, you're like, okay, yeah, and then you hear the same thing from somebody else, like the light bulb goes off. For some reason, it's like magic. I can't explain it, but when you get that multiple points and you start hearing it more and more and more, and you're like, I get it, you're on the right path. All you need to do is action. Just go take action. Adam, great. Took lots of notes. Awesome. Thanks, Calvin. Appreciate it. Thanks, Juan. Andy, appreciate it. All right, guys. I think that's it. Again, I'll give all this information to Caitlin. You guys have rocked. Appreciate staying on. Hit me up if you have any questions in the community on Facebook or on Skype. All right, guys. I'm out of here.